I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon update, bro. And today we don't need to worry about Armageddon because it's 420. The world can't end when we're all in a mellow state of buzzalicious heaven. Even if Armageddon did happen, we would just go, whoa, nukes make the sky look bitchin'. You rarely hear about a mass shooting done by someone who was high, a bank robbery by a stoner, and if you do, it's usually non-violent and they were caught eating jelly donuts in the bank parking lot after. You don't hear of a bar fight started by two guys after they've cranked down a couple or 7 white chocolate chip macadamia nut pot cookies. Now, I'm not a pot user, as my discussion of the subject clearly shows. But through my research, I have found that there is a medical and psychological benefit to moderately baking your brain from time to time. Did you know there are a ton of positive cancer studies done on the effects of marijuana? The National Cancer Institute, sponsored by our own government, came up with this. Cannabinoids may inhibit tumor growth by causing cell death, blocking cell growth, and blocking the development of blood vessels needed by tumors to grow. Cannabinoids may protect against inflammation of the colon, and who wants an inflamed poop chute? A laboratory study of delta-9-THC liver cancer cells showed it damaged or killed the cancer cells. What? Negative breast cancer cells shows that it caused cancer cell death while having little effect on normal breast cells. Pot saves boobies! I love it even more. Cannabinoids have been studied for anti-inflammatory effects that may play a role in pain relief. It has been shown that marijuana can kill certain cancer cells and reduce the size of others. So this amazing plant that makes you feel good, takes away stress, kills cancer, protects the jewels that are in that the female breasts are, and makes you feel good is illegal? Don't you find it interesting that study after study after study has proven that prescription meds in many cases do more harm than good? That the side effects of one medication make you have to counter the side effects by taking another medication. And the side effects of that medication has to have a medication to counter the side effects of that medication, and so on, and so on, and so on, until death. Or I go to my local dispensary, get some hemp oil or some scientifically engineered botanical booyah, get a buzz, kill cancer, and then have a cookie and sleep better than I did when I was in the womb. Sleep meds are chemicals that jack up your system, as are blood pressure, antidepressants, allergy, pain medication, and almost everything else that the AMA and the drug companies have rammed up our asses. The synthetic crap that doctors want to pump into us could, in a lot of cases, be replaced with marijuana. And it's more effective with less side effects, according to numerous health studies and Sanjay freaking Gupta. What's the holdup? Well, the holdup is you can grow pot in your backyard, and the drug companies and the doctors don't get their cut. And until Pfizer and Merck can get their piece of the marijuana-laced edible pie, we're going to have a tough time. Until then, though, smoke up, vape your ass off, and crank down some Bob Marley muffins. And if you get caught, at least you're going to live longer than everybody else in prison. I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. Hey everybody, Christopher Titus, happy 420, Titus Podcast here. With me as always, kind of in a weird mood today, is the beautiful, lovely Bombshell Rae.
What's up, people? What's
going on? Traffic? Was it traffic that sucked the life out of you and made you feel like you're dying?
I don't know. I think it's travel.
Travel day. We have a travel day tomorrow. We're going to Montana to do some shows. 3 shows in Montana.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, so you know what? Because I love to perform for Bison. I have to be honest with you.
I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of that.
Yeah, there'll be more bison than people.
Yeah. Pretty excited about that.
Yeah, it turns out that the kind of, maybe a little left-leaning stand-up comedian, not the most popular person in Montana.
Maybe not.
But I'm not left-leaning. I'm independent.
No, you're definitely left-leaning.
I am not. Only because the right is so far right, it's ridiculous now.
Right.
I still believe everybody should work.
Says the left-leaner.
Everybody should work their ass off.
Mm-hmm.
There should be not a whole lot of welfare unless you're actually disabled to some degree. You don't get to just get free shit. I don't agree with that. So I'm pretty right in my beliefs. I just think the current group is crazy. We do. We got a guy, the president, the guy that's the front runner is a mobster 4-year-old. We got the other guy who I said before, it looks like he's wearing in the trench coat mafia. You know, Cruz. No one's ever going to wipe boogers on me again. Yeah. And then we got the Hillary with the alleged thing of bodies, and Bernie, who I still believe he's a model train enthusiast. He is. You know damn well, doot in his basement every day after he goes home. You know damn well.
It's probably a stress reliever.
Don't bother me while I'm using my trains. Everyone should have trains. Everyone needs trains. I do not understand. There are many inner city kids that don't have trains. They need model trains. So are you feeling bad? What's going on with you?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm fine.
No, you know. Oh, that was that chick. I'm fine. That scares the hell out of every man on the planet. Where you, yeah. What's wrong with you? I'm fine. A little bit of cracking in it.
I am fine. I find travel days, the day before a travel day, to be extremely stressful.
Really?
Especially, but I'm not hardened like you. And I think also being a female, I lack sleep often as a female, whereas men you guys can fall asleep anywhere.
I don't think it's because when I was your age, I had the same problems.
Yeah?
Yeah, I couldn't sleep. My brain would work too hard.
My brain, it definitely works.
Now that I've realized no matter what I do, the world is going to continue to roll over me and crush my soul, I can just sleep now. I go, this is going to happen again tomorrow. Woo!
See, I'm still in the age where I think I can prevent that
Right.
if I get everything planned out well enough,
No.
which then stresses me out trying to plan everything and get everything done before I leave. And then, yeah, it doesn't.
And then it starts all over again the next week.
Right. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm always in fight or flight.
What would you? But that's a story. That's up to you. Speaking of stories, with me as always, on the other side is Fetus. Hey, there he is. He's in the distance. But fight or flight, it's like you made it up. There's no. We don't fight or flight. We're taking a black SUV luxury vehicle to the airport. We're gonna get out. The guy's gonna check our bags at the thing. We're gonna walk to the airport and get and we get to ride first class.
But tell my body that. Tell my. That's what I'm saying.
And
like
then,
human
and then we
beings
land and someone picks us up, or we rent a car. And
with
then
performance, right?
Well,
you have to acknowledge
You're
that
not-
as a performer, you have fight or flight. Flat out.
on stage, yeah, but you're not
Prior to.
But travel day, you're not. But it's not the Donner Party. We're not gonna get caught in the mountains and have to
How do you
kill
know?
and eat each other.
That's what I don't know.
I've been doing it 30 years. I got it. We're good. We're fine. I swear. And if we're not, if they lose all our luggage and everything, we're gonna go to the airport gift store and wear shirts that say whatever town we're on stage that night. That's some weird loud Montana. We're gonna have loud shorts on, flip flops, and wearing shirts that say the town we're in. Which people are gonna love us for
People
that.
would probably
They'd
love
be like,
that.
"Oh my god, they got the shirt!" And then our luggage would be delivered. But I think it's not the same as So all this thing, it's just. Didn't you give me a lecture the other night about like we have a great life, we should enjoy what we have?
Yes, but I've completely unraveled since then.
Okay, that's great.
I've completely fallen apart. I've lost focus.
Well, that's good. So 420. I am not a big pot smoker. Fetus, you smoke?
No.
No, and you don't either. Do you taking like vape or anything like that?
No.
So I'm reading all this stuff about all the health benefits, and part of me is thinking, well, just to be healthy, I'm getting a card.
Well, okay. I will say smoking, as you just said. I mean, certainly there are some downsides of smoking anything.
Right.
But really, and it's really pretty fascinating, but if you look it up, really what they say, like Sanjay Gupta did 2 specials on it, is not so much the THC, the stuff that makes you high.
That's the bonus.
That's your bing on your bang. It's the CBDs. That's what has had an effect on tumor growth or lack thereof.
Seizures.
They're using it in kids and stuff like that. And so actually, interestingly enough, we had to talk my mom into doing it when she first got sick. And you got her from someone some oil.
Right.
And
Which
it was a CBD, low THC oil. And
she slept like a baby.
yeah, she fought and fought and fought. And then she started doing it, and it doesn't get you high. It just has the CBDs in it that really mellowed her and calmed her, whatever was going on, and helped her sleep.
And then she had another oil that did have THC in it.
A little bit.
That made her silly.
Well, she didn't, because she would only take 1 drop before bed, and you're supposed to take like a whole dropper full. She'd do 1 drop, and then she would have Technicolor dreams about oatmeal. She'd come in the morning and be like, I had the most amazing full color dream of oatmeal. And so she quit doing that one because she didn't want any of that, effect. She just wanted the CBDs.
I would like my dreams to be vivid.
I don't think the rest of us would like your dreams to be vivid.
I'm fine.
I feel like everything in your brain is vivid enough.
No, it's dark. Trust me, it's very dark. Everything in my brain is not vivid. Someone needs to crank on some lights in my brain. Because even when someone gives me any negative information, I go to a dark place.
Really?
Well, yeah, which happened today.
Well, Fetus is agreeing fervently.
Yeah, I go to a dark place. I like it. So I think that I don't understand why this is. When you read all the medical studies, which I did today, before I wrote this, guys, I sat down, I read the medical studies, and again, I am not the guy who's going. I don't do it. I'm just was looking at the research. The research shows pretty clearly that CBD's marijuana is going to cure some people. And it's in breast cancer too. It's big in breast cancer. Did you know that? It'll kill cancer cells in the breast and leave the normal cells healthy. And I don't understand why there is not a medical center dedicated to this. Oh, yes, I do. Because they can't make hundreds of billions of dollars. That's why. So that's the sad part for me in this country, is that we've now got to a place where money is king, which is true. It's not a surprise, but that money's a king in the face of people's health and living. Death is a pretty big deal. It's the last big deal. And yet nobody is saying, let's start putting this out there full speed. You can still get medical marijuana, though, right?
Yeah, but
in California, it's kind of pseudo-legal. But if the government wanted to tomorrow, they could just shut us down.
Well, so by federal law, the possession of cannabis is illegal in the United States, except within approved research settings. However, obviously, like a growing number of states and territories, including the District of Columbia, have enacted laws to legalize medical use. So if you actually go to the American Cancer Society's website, they have a whole section on the effects of CBDs on cancer.
Right.
Which is that's kind of interesting because that's a pretty mainstream.
Right. It's not a surprise anymore. It's not some crazy guy in the distance ranting and raving about pot. It's like, no, this Sanjay Gupta, who was anti-pot, did the research and was like, that's what I liked about him. I like that he could do the research and change his mind. And I wish more people on the planet could do that. Because a lot of people, nope, I don't believe it. Climate change. We've had the hottest year on record in like 11. It keeps going up for 11 years. It's the hottest year in recorded history. Nope, didn't happen. Someone just left too much air conditioning. It heats it up. It's like it doesn't matter that no one can change
already
their mind.
Donald Trump calling 9/11 7/11. He called the day 7/11. He referred to the day as 7/11.
It was 24 hours of hell.
However, there's already a group of people that are like, spread this, and it's hashtag support Trump New York. And he was actually accurate. We are the 7th fire district, the first ladder and the first battalion to arrive on the scene, as featured by whatever cameraman. So there's this whole thing on the internet going around now where they're like, spread the word and let people know that he was right. He didn't refer to the team that showed up first. He was talking about the day. Right. But it's like people will always use propaganda to get whomever they want elected.
And they'll put themselves in some crazy yoga pose mentally to actually make it okay for everybody else. Can I turn Fetus's mic on?
It depends.
I just want to ask him what he thinks about the whole, because his generation in the pot thing is pretty, they're pretty intense about it, right? But you don't do it. Your mic's on.
No, I don't.
Yeah, why?
I was
raised Jameson, actually.
No, I was raised in a very kind of no smoking household and family and everything. And honestly, when I was younger, I was too scared to try anything for fear of getting in trouble with my father.
Right, because he was the principal.
He was the vice principal.
And that explains a lot about your damage, by the way, that your dad was the vice principal.
My dad's a perfect person.
I know. She was a sheriff, right? He was a sheriff.
He was a cop for a while.
Cop
became a teacher.
And vice president.
That's a small
Not
town.
Vice president.
That's a small
He's
town.
the sheriff, the principal, and
he handles the Jiffy Lube.
He owns the crematorium.
Yeah.
Anyway, so when I got to, I really just had no kind of interest at all in it. But I have tons of friends who are regular pot smokers. I've got friends who are recreational, occasional pot smokers, and friends who don't do it at all.
So here's the thing I was talking about. Then I went and read the bad effects of it. The bad effects are pretty much, it sounds like, when you read it, if you go to the bad effects of pot, it sounds like a 90-year-old person telling you from Reefer Madness. Well, you're just going to be slower, and you're going to eat more chips, and you're going to get fatter, and it's like
having done some field research during my day, I would argue that that's accurate. Taco Bell has never been so busy as the 4 years that six years that I was in college. Never been so busy.
That's why they put the open late upside. You know, that's why.
I know.
Do you remember that they actually started staying open later because of pot smokers?
We actually had a party to celebrate that.
They actually widened their drive-through 4 feet just so people could get through it. Can't get this, too narrow.
They need prompts every 2 feet. No, go. No, go. Hey, no, you can go. Push the accelerator. Go.
I tweeted out today that Domino's delivery drivers are the real MVPs today.
Yeah,
Because
420.
Domino's
Today, yeah.
Today, yeah.
When I remember one time I was so high that I stopped at a stop sign with 4 of my friends in my little Mazda GLC hatchback. Very savvy back
Nice.
then. And I waited for the stop sign to turn green.
Yeah, I have done that. We've done stuff where we. I remember sitting in the parking lot of the old GM factory, which is now the Tesla factory, when I was a kid, because I grew up in Fremont, and just sitting there and sitting. I remember sitting so high, I'm just sitting, and then it was someone goes, "Hey man, it's 2 a.m." and we parked there at 11. Like we all 4 of us in the car, just whatever we were smoking, just it was gone. We were gone, and we just sat there. And someone goes, "Hey, it's 2 a.m." We sat there for like hours quietly, didn't do anything. It's weird.
It's a weird group of people, actually.
It only happened once. And we didn't smoke that stuff again.
It's weird. Mine was just a giggle fest. You got the giggles.
Well, no, that was the worst. I think the problem is that my friends would mix alcohol and pot.
Oh yeah.
And so I remember coming back from Santa Cruz to the Santa Cruz Mountains once, and I've told the story before where Scott was singing. He's driving way too fast, like 90. Singing Malibu Grand Prix, and we're all doing it in the car with him, and he's literally just switching lanes 4 at a time, going through traffic, and it's amazing. Again, high and drunk.
Do you think that's just your memory of that?
What do you mean?
We were doing 105 miles.
We were probably doing 7. We're probably 7 or 9. But no, we were going really fast. We were actually whipping through traffic, and I remember thinking, "Oh, this is right before the story that you read in the paper on Sunday about 4 teens killed in a car accident." I remember that. We didn't get killed, though.
Didn't he?
Scott got hit by, ironically, Scott got out with Jim Kane after school when the year after our senior year. They were coming back from Reno over the hill back into Northern California, and they were good guys. They would always stop and help. His mom with some kids in a station wagon were broken down, and her hood was up. Scott was a pretty good mechanic. Scott pulled over Jim Kane, who was not a mechanic at all, but the best sports guy ever. This was Jim, and just a great guy. He was the most popular guy in school, homecoming king. I hung out with him, just a good dude. And they were under the hood. Jim was standing on the freeway side of the car, just looking in, looking at the and drunk driver hit him, killed him, broke both of Scott's legs. The hood slammed on him, and Jim got killed. Jim died. I went to his funeral. It was the first funeral I had to attend ever. Ugh. Still brokenhearted about it. Good dude too.
Wow.
Like he would have gone on. He was so good at. He lettered in like 7 sports. He was so good. He would have gone on to any college he wanted to.
Well, thanks for cheering me up.
Yeah, man. You asked.
Depressing.
You asked. You said. Didn't she say? Didn't he get killed?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think someone else cracked the door.
This is what I'm trying to tell you. People die.
Welcome to the podcast.
Everybody dies.
So you should be high a little bit. I want to go kill some possible pre-cancer cells.
Here's the thing. I don't want to be. That's my thing. Like, I would totally do the CBD oil, 100%. I'm in on that after reading about stuff with my mom. But it, because that only can have positive effects on it's supposed to have effects, according to Sanjay Gupta. And now I'm looking at the American Cancer Society on your central nervous system.
Yeah. And also for like seizures. And I have to be honest, I have to tell you this. And I haven't told anybody this. My left hand, and it's because my shoulder, has started doing this every once in a while. It'll just start shaking.
Oh no!
It's a little Katharine Hepburn every once in a while.
I'm gonna be stuck with a shaky people.
Yeah. I just want to welcome to the podcast. Because episode 2000.
You're not gonna get any nicer. I think we all know that.
I'm just gonna spill more shit.
And you're just gonna be more annoying.
Yeah, you have to clean it up.
Even your good moments are gonna be hard to take.
I think it only did it after a couple of heavy Pinot Noir drinking nights. So
oh my gosh. So you're an alcoholic and you're going to have the shaky disease and be old and then die. Welcome to the podcast.
Wow, how bad was traffic today? Man, it was horrible.
Okay. So recently scientists have reported that cannabinoids such as CBD can slow growth, this is what you said, and or cause death in certain types of cancer cells growing in laboratory dishes. They're adding the CBD to the dish, and it's killing
him, yeah.
the cancer. But it's from what I've heard, it's still in early phases. But I'm like all for it. If someone's dying of cancer and it's worked in the early phase and there were no negative effects, crank it down me.
Because it's natural, and this is what bothers me. So all these other drugs that the FDA approves, these synthetic drugs, there are also a lot of them in early phases, and they get approved as long as there's a disclaimer. As long as the disclaimer, if you read a magazine, people look into a magazine on one of these drugs, Alexor, and you read it. It's got one picture of a woman in a park with a dog throwing a ball, and then the page next to it, and the fold out on the next page is like the worst contract you've ever seen. It's a 2,000-word disclaimer. Now with pot, the only disclaimer you're going to get is, dude, take that. It's good. Don't drive. Pretty much it. That's what you're going to get.
Well, they're also
natural.
showing that it can slow growth and reduce the spread of certain forms of cancer. They're going into more clinical trials now, but they do warn that you shouldn't just rely on that. We just want to throw that out there, just that to cure cancer.
It's not,
but they found that patients took less pain medication. They didn't need pain medication so much. They were sleeping and they were eating.
Yeah,
really sick patients because they weren't throwing up and
right.
stuff.
So people that have cancer that's making them not want to eat, they get high, they feel better, pain's gone, they get the munchies, they put some weight on so they can fight their cancer while the CBDs are fighting their cancer. I don't hear the downside yet. Anybody? They may want to listen to a lot more Leonard Skinner. Maybe a Freebird. They may want to do that. They may. I have bought all the Pink Floyd albums, but that's only going to help their old catalog.
Okay, well, I will say this. So the CBD oil that you got for Mom,
right?
The first night, it's like the nastiest stuff that you'll ever taste.
Oh, I gotta remember this.
It's like a skunk shitting in your mouth. It's like it's the worst thing ever.
Right.
So
I understand why it needs to be put into cookies.
So even then, you can't hide that nastiness. So she did get used to it over time. You decided that you were going to put it in her mouth for her. Now, she had just gotten home from Cancer Treatment Centers of America. She was very sick.
Right.
She had been vomiting for 2 weeks straight. We had finally gotten her stabilized, and I brought her home, but she still wasn't really stabilized. It was a harried ride home. So she said you could just put the drop in her mouth, and so you filled the whole tincture and squeezed the whole thing into her mouth.
Man, it was like I had punched her in the nervous system. She went
instantly started heaving, and I started panicking because we had finally gotten her out of the hospital from vomiting, and now here she is spitting into a garbage can and heaving again. You're looking panicked. She can't get it. She's trying to use the blanket to rub it off her tongue.
Yeah, she actually has the blanket.
Spoiler alert, the oil sticks and it won't move. It stays on your tongue if you put it directly, which you did put it all directly on her tongue.
Yeah.
Well, because you gave her the whole thing, and she had lost like 20-something pounds. Like, this was her welcome home. So you felt so bad, and so she said, I heard it, put it in your mouth. And you go, okay.
Yeah.
So then she squeezed it into his mouth to teach him a lesson, and into my mouth, or you put it into my mouth. One of you did. I remember.
Slept like a baby. Slept like a baby that night.
No, totally camped out on her bed in a line and watched Wally.
That's right. I forgot that. I would have said no. I was fine. It didn't affect me at all. But we were sitting there on our bed watching.
It's because we had so much that the THC, I guess, built up.
Does that sound like a bad? So that's a downside. Is that a bad downside? You're sitting with your wife and your mother-in-law on one bed watching Pixar's Wall-E. That's not. If that's the worst that can happen, I am so in.
I didn't think that we were, because I wouldn't say I was high, but
that's how I felt. I didn't feel like I was high.
We were just all so chill, and at one point, like an hour in, we hadn't spoken, and then she said something like, "This is really beautiful." And then I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I'm high with my mom. This is weird. And then it helped her sleep after that.
And you're not making me not want to go get it.
Honestly, I will say to anyone that is going through chemo or having trouble sleeping, it was the greatest relief after having gone through with her what I went through, the no sleeping and the vomiting and the all night every night in the hospital, to look over at her peaceful and calm, and then she slept 10 hours straight.
And then after like 3 nights, she was like, "Can I have it, please?" Remember, she was
we had to fight her the first few. Yeah.
And then after that, she was like, after she realized she was sleeping well, who's trying to fight this pot? Like, who's fighting it? That was at the AMI.
I would be willing, this AMA, I'd be willing to bet that it's pharmaceutical companies.
Right. They're just fighting. Because the problem is that because you could just grow it.
Yeah.
You know, you would just go, I have a closet in my house. That is my, it's my pharmacy. We'll call it the pharmacy. And I've got some nice lights, LEDs, and it's a pharmacy.
As I start to put in who is fighting against marijuana legalization wasn't a choice, but Google supplied the Illuminati. Who is fighting against the Illuminati?
I am.
Yeah, I always am. It's hard to find them, though.
Really hard.
Okay, big tobacco, big pharma, and big booze, according to U.S. News and World Report.
Oh, of course, booze. Because, see, booze is negative effects on your liver and everything. Pot doesn't have any of this. It's
all motivated by money, not health or safety.
Alcohol is giving you a liver cancer. Pot is actually killing it. So you should drink and smoke pot.
See, because the theory being is that your liver filters things out, so it really gets in your liver. My mom should be doing this again to get rid of that little bit of stuff on her liver.
Yeah, she should. She should, actually. I think so. I think I'm going to go find a high CBD oil. I'm going to go get a card and go find a high CBD oil.
She has a card.
Just on a daily thing. Well, I can't take her card in. I don't look like her at all.
No, but you could go with her because then we'd have a bit.
Oh, okay.
One of my favorite things was my ex-military colonel dad here from Kuwait visiting, needing to get her more oil because she ran out. And he's on his iPad, very serious looking for a marijuana doctor and an exchange close by, and then had to drive her to both and deal with really high people at both.
And this guy is like high security clearances and everything, and he's now searching LA for a dispensary and doing it like this. So, coming to get some oil? Like, he had to go in, and he wasn't like, bros! He was like, hello, how are you? How many cameras do you have? Good. It's good, a nice amount of security. He's wearing a low hat.
I think some of the issues that come with marijuana are comparable to the issues that come along with alcohol, not health-wise, but the overconsumption and the fact that you've got a lot of people, especially my generation, that just abuse it.
Bake. Well, what does it do? Do me a favor. Do a study. Pull something up on the iPad.
Well, I'm looking up right now what you already asked me. So hang on,
okay.
Spark plug.
Yeah.
For example, the fight in
yep.
Florida, the Sheriff's Association fought against it, but they're saying Crusaders Against Weed are lobbyists from police departments who have millions of dollars in federal grants every year to eradicate marijuana use. Pharmaceutical companies, they compensate leading anti-marijuana researchers in order to keep their customers on painkillers over cannabis, which is so much cheaper than medicine.
Oh, of course.
Also, the prison industrial complex, because they make a lot of money on building prisons to fill them with nonviolent offenders that smoked weed and got arrested.
Wow, do we live in this cynical
Alcohol
society?
and beer industries have lobbied for years to keep marijuana illegal because they fear the competition that legalized weed would bring. It's crazy, right? It's all about money.
The saddest part for me is that we live in such a cynical society that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good something is for you. It matters how much money you're taking away from somebody who's already making something that's bad for you. So it's a sad state.
It's basically legalized bribery.
And it's not going to change. It's not going to change until someone gets in to change Citizens United or figures out how to do it. It seems like we're dumb. It doesn't seem in this country, because a lot of other countries are fine with it. Amsterdam. It seems like we're dumb. Like, we're just dumb. How do you just? Oh, this is better, and it still gets you high if you want to get some of that. And it's curing cancer while you're high. Wait a minute, hold on, I'm curing cancer while I'm high. It just doesn't make any sense.
I think we should have a lane specifically dedicated for people that are high. Once they legalize it, it's the slow lane. Whatever. If you're sober, you can use if you're high, you cannot use the fast lane or the carpool lane, and if you do, you get arrested. There's your criminal charge.
Biggest issue with it is that how do you test people who are like driving high? Like, there's a system for driving drunk. You can check their blood alcohol content.
You let it happen, and they can come up with something. We have science. We'll do it.
Well, I don't know.
What are the driving effects? See driving, say, pot versus alcohol driving effects.
Well, having done some field research,
I'm alive. That's what I'm saying.
Like,
Well, I remember we had a couple of close calls growing up. I was 16. Steve Fish spun his 56 Chevy in front of us. His 57 Chevy in front of us, and we almost hit him up on a windy road in Santa Cruz. No one died, though. I will say that. I think that's a win. I think the spin out is bad, but it's a win. C+ at least.
I mean, I have plenty of friends who have driven home in the woods where I'm from. It's like, oh, it's in the woods, I'm not going to hit anyone, and they're not dead, but that didn't make it right.
Right, that's true. It's a good point.
It impairs judgment and your motor coordination and your reaction time.
Have they done any tests on it, though? Is it the same as
Studies
alcohol?
have found a direct relationship between blood THC concentration and impaired driving ability.
Mm-hmm.
2 large European studies found that drivers with THC in their blood were roughly twice as likely to be culpable for a fatal accident than drivers who had not used drugs or alcohol.
So yeah, if you're fucked up, you shouldn't drive.
Yes.
Listen, pretty
in
much.
general, if
no matter
you're-
what it is, whether it's
if you're
Xanax,
on anything,
right?
On
There you go.
anything,
Right.
yeah.
Don't operate heavy machinery.
or
That's pretty much what it comes down to.
have an at-your-risk slow lane. You can drive. You can get to and from. If you got to get somewhere, maybe then
And
at
it's got
your
those
risk.
little barriers on either side. You just those barriers all either side, so you can just bounce off. You can pinball down
with the bumper car tires
Yeah,
on the
exactly.
sides.
You
of
get
it.
everybody's cars-
And you have to drive a bumper car. That way we all know to avoid you.
And I'm in on that too. Elon Musk could do the electric bumper car. It'd be fine. People are happy, high, and getting where they're going. It doesn't get better. Than
I
that.
would get high just to get in a bumper car. That
Well,
would
if
be
we have
the
self-driving
shit.
cars, you won't have to drive yourself. Just get in the self-driving car
That's
lane.
going to
get your
solve
weed.
that problem.
That will solve the problem. Do you know insurance companies are going to go out of business because once the satellites, Elon Musk is putting in geosynchronous orbit 46 satellites that are tiny and they can be upgraded and replaced wirelessly. So they'll be able to actually change GPS all the time instead of the shit we're using from the 60s right now. So it will happen in a few years. Guys, be ready for in your lifetime. You will actually Uber a car with no driver will pop up in your house in 10 minutes. You will get in it and you will type where you want to go and it'll drive there while you watch a movie or because the inside windows of the car will be a screen that will actually, you can put anything. You could punch an aquarium and the windows will actually show you aquarium like you're driving to the ocean.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Future
it's
is now.
going to be crazy. Yeah. No, we live.
I kind of like driving, though. That's weird. I don't know that I want to give that up
But
so much.
his generation hates it. There's so many kids don't drive. My buddy Dean's son doesn't care about driving. Knows how to.
20.
I hate driving.
21, and he still doesn't have his license.
I hate driving with you.
Here's your buddy Dean, though.
because
This
I
is
drive
what he
safe.
says. When we saw him in Oregon a couple weeks ago, it's so your buddy.
Yeah.
Because I get why you were friends from a very young age, because he goes, yep, I think he's on the spectrum. And we were thinking,
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
we think so,
Yeah, he is
too.
too. We think so too.
So this website, livescience.com, they say that obviously nearly a third of all fatal accidents were caused by alcohol impairment. So they put out this whole report where they say, yes, marijuana impairs driving abilities, but we haven't proven that it causes traffic accidents. However, their whole stance is everyone that was going to drink and drive just got high and drove, we would have considerably less car accidents, and it would be much safer for people on the road if all the drunk people were high instead.
Do you know why? Because when you're drunk, you're going 90. When you're high,
Right.
you're going 9.
It's right.
That's why.
And feel like you're going 90.
Yeah.
So it says they found that it does impair all cognitive abilities needed for safe driving, including tracking, motor coordination, visual function, and divided attention, but still not as bad as driving drunk.
I wonder if there's any reports from Denver, because Colorado's now been legal for over a year now, right? So
Ish, yeah.
They also found that people who vaporized were more likely to weave within their own lane than people who were sober, but not more likely to weave out of their lane or speed. Drunk drivers, by contrast, do all three.
So you're a little bit safer. So instead of slapping the Grim Reaper, if you just want to tickle him a little bit, be high and drive. Is what
They
you're saying.
stay in their lane while they're weaving,
That's pretty good. That's decent. That's a little
and they
more
don't
skilled.
speed.
It's hilarious.
So, according to the Denver Post, this was from January 30th, marijuana is involved in 12% of Colorado State Patrol DUI cases.
Wow, that's pretty high. 12%.
So, out of all their DUI,
Out of 100% of DUI, 12% are marijuana.
yes.
Yeah, it's weird. Alcohol does something different to the pot. This is me talking from like 1980s when I smoked it. I'm sure the concentration is much different now. Snoop Doggy Titus really wasn't that high compared to what's going on today.
Yeah. Nobody even knows what a dime is anymore. Yo, man, I just need a nickel. In high school, I was like, I found $5 in my dad's pants pocket. We can get weed.
See, I found $5. I stole $5 from my father.
Steer.
Totally steer. Totally steer.
But you could go get a nickel bag, man. People now, like, we're the elderly people talking about weed.
Yeah.
Here's another interesting thing.
And we're talking for health reasons. Like, I'm not saying I can't get weed to get wasted. I'm like, you know what? Possibly
for my colon,
and the breast cancer, we may be able to get some weed. We're the oldest people on the planet. My God, we suck.
To answer your previous question
Yep.
about whether Colorado's seen a trend. Because DUI cases involving marijuana are not differentiated in court data, Colorado has long struggled to determine whether stoned driving is an increased problem to the state or not a problem at all. Last year was the first year the State Patrol began tracking marijuana DUIs.
Interesting, because it was illegal too. So I like they didn't track it, even though marijuana was super illegal. They didn't track it. You just everybody that got busted for high driving was just under DUI influence.
right?
And why would they be tracking it specific? Did they track heroin DUIs?
No, but I'm sure that all the people that were fighting against it are looking for ammunition, right?
Oh, right, yeah. Well, just what we've been to Colorado. Here's what happened when they legalized pot. Everything got crazy. Cash is insane. People are building apartment buildings, cranes, construction cranes. I've never seen an economy turn around in 2 years like I see in Denver's economy turn around. It's insane. It's insane. And I don't know if it's because people are high or I don't know. Maybe it's just like maybe the first year after Prohibition, like towns just thrived, and then it started to tear people's guts out and kill them. I don't know. Maybe we'll see what happens in 5 years.
The whole prohibition
Welcome
thing
to
is
life.
just hilarious because the United States is like, you know what, alcohol is bad. Let's just get rid of it. And then we fought so much because it was like alcohol has been grandfathered into the country almost. And
Yeah.
you can see the government's trepidation of allowing weed to seep in.
Alcohol learned its bones, my friend. It was there for a long time, and then we took it out, and it came back. You couldn't kill it. Hey, it's earned its bones in this country. I believe it has.
What?
Yes, it's earned its bones. It's done what it could. Well, I don't know. I think this. I think that.
What do you think?
I think we should actually not worry about it that much. If you go to any store, there's an aisle. Supermarkets now have a wine alcohol aisle. At our Ralph's, it's 3 aisles wide.
Yes.
There's wine, white wine, red wine, and there's hard liquor. If we can do that, and we know and there's study after study that shows how horrible it is for you, and it's just not horrible for you. It's horrible for your health. It's everything. That this has a upside to it. That marijuana has an upside for health, and if you get and they're engineering it now with this high CBD, really low THC. At one point, you have to just. There's no argument anymore. There's absolutely no argument, and that California is going to make it legal, but that we still are that the federal government is still holding off is stupid. It's just
We'd
dumb.
probably be better off if we banned alcohol and then did a forcible transition for everyone that
smoke pot?
is addicted
Vape?
to alcohol. Yeah,
Ooh.
just forcibly ease them, but they would ease in pretty easily, probably because of
You give
the
an
effect
alternative,
on your
right.
central nervous system. It calms everything down. You wouldn't get the DTs probably because it would calm that seizure reaction down. You'd sleep, you'd be hungry, and then you're still high. You're still avoiding your life. Congratulations.
You're the worst rehab center ever. By the way, you have an alcohol problem? Come in. Here, put this in you.
No? Is that wrong?
No, it's fine. But I agree that my dad, very few times my dad would, depending on who he was hanging out with, he would have pot sometimes. And he was a different guy. When alcohol, he was ready to kill you at any time. You could just turn him and he would just flick the anger switch and it was over. Pot, he would just be like, what? I'm watching TV, leave me alone. It was that level. That was my dad Mello, by the way.
I was going to say, he's still not very nice.
Not the nicest guy,
How old were you?
I think when he started doing that, I was between 9 and 13.
What?
13.
I'm watching TV, leave me alone. To a 9-year-old, and that was his nice days.
Yeah, that was a good day.
Well, I get a lot about you.
I'm damaged horribly. All right, so what do you think? So I have no problem. I am going to, I think, if your mom will go with me, your mom should still be doing it because she's
concur.
Although she's beaten the cancer to continue to kill cancer, tiny microscopic cancer cells that are still in her bloodstream.
And it would prevent recurrence.
It would prevent recurrence and possibly kill what else was going on
I'm
with
a
her.
hundo on board with that. I actually just told her that earlier today. I said, you have got to start doing that again. You can't just stop everything that we did that obviously helped. So
Isn't it interesting about that generation? Like you can't. There's a whole generation of people. My dad was one of them. That once it was cured, they went back to exactly their behavior.
they assholes.
It's just like I mean, I want to go. It's what I say in this new show that people are stupid. We're stupid. So something your behavior for the last 20 years gave you cancer. Now you changed your entire behavior. You cured cancer, and now you're going back to your old behavior. Not saying your mom is, but a lot of people do that. What do you
Right?
got? What does it say? Is marijuana a gateway drug?
Yeah,
what is it saying?
Well, this is you were talking.
Isn't everything a gateway drug?
Well, yeah, you were
I
talking.
mean, Oreo's a gateway cookie. I mean, come on.
Oh man, I have
Having done
partaken
some
in.
field research,
I've done plenty of field research on the Oreo
it
gateway
is
cookie.
a gateway drug.
Yes.
I don't know that it leads to other drugs. I just know that the rite of passage for a teen is marijuana first, see how you handle that, and then move along.
Yeah.
And you end up hanging around people that have other stuff.
I don't count teenagers because when you're a teenager from 14 to 23, you're just a retard. You're just going to do everything you're going to do. And because you got high on one thing, you say, well, I wonder if I should try this now. I don't think that's like right now. So if you were going to say, you know, I'm known to have a glass of Pinot Noir once in a while.
Right.
If you say Pinot Noir is a gateway alcohol, then I should be cranking down moonshine right now. And I'm not. You know, I think that teenager, when you say it's a gateway drug, no, teenagers are fucking stupid. That's how it is. They got high with one thing, they got high with the next thing.
Well, there is some science to support that doing marijuana while you're a teen adjusts your dopamine levels, your reward centers as they're still developing, because you're still developing at that point.
That's a big study. There's a big study about that. They were talking about that as an adult, all these things we're saying about marijuana, by the way, are adult level. These aren't for kids.
Yes.
Because what happens is during the developmental process, when you mix in the THC with that, it does screw your brain up, like video games do. It's actually the same kind of thing. No, it creates a dopamine center. But all those video games are designed to change your dopamine receptors. You know that, right?
Depends on it. This is a conversation for another day.
No, it is not, Mr. Video Game Guy. I like when you go after someone else's drug. They're like, whoa, no. Like, I went after his drug just now, and he was like, hey, hold on, stop. Video games are good. They're healthy. They're good for you. They fight cancer, video games do. No, they don't, actually.
There are lots of benefits of brain development that come from certain kinds of video games.
You can quit anytime.
Yeah, anytime. You can quit, right? You don't have to play video games, right? You're done.
I haven't played video games in a while, to be totally honest.
He has a real
I
job.
don't want a
A real
girlfriend.
job.
I could get a girlfriend if I wanted one, but I don't want one.
Right? No, especially when I can play Grand Theft Auto when there's girlfriends on there. I've got many girlfriends.
Those girlfriends are pretty.
That's so weird.
Okay,
I'm so sad.
If you had all the power in the world,
What
Titus,
just
and
happened to you?
I put my chair down so I could just so you guys could feel more powerful. Yes.
and you could have all the power to legalize marijuana tomorrow. What age would you say? Like, what is it? It's 21 for alcohol.
Just like alcohol. I think
21?
just like alcohol. You have to, your brain, if you read some of the studies, your brain has to develop to a point where it's the same I think about vaccinations too. Feel the same thing about vaccinations. You know, kids getting vaccinated before they're a month old. Why would you take a perfect little baby and pump it full of chemicals? What are you doing? You know, to save its life? Yeah, but they've shown that it doesn't make a difference. At 5, once you've developed, I understand that. You know, I understand that. Also, most kids are, especially in America, are most kids inside. So I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm just let your system get some metal to it first before you do it. And I feel the same way about alcohol and marijuana. I think 21 is for alcohol totally legit. I think marijuana, same thing, 21. You know, unless it's a medical condition. Sanjay Gupta was doing that special. It was really cool to watch this girl. This girl was having seizures, and she was having seizures consistently, and her parents didn't know what to do. And they found out that this high CBD marijuana would actually stop the seizures. And this little girl, who was so far behind in development because of these seizures, started taking the CBD and became a normal kid. Like it's the video's dramatic. It's transformational. You're like, that's just a normal kid. And they showed other video where she's just on the floor flopping around. And as funny as that was, it wasn't good for the kid. See how he's got to put a dark thing in there? Mm-hmm. You guys just looked at each other like he's an a-hole.
We always look at each other like that.
I know. I'm not liking it.
It's really weird what you've done to your chair.
I don't know if I like it.
Yeah, I know. What am
You're
I?
like 2 feet below us now. There you are.
There, now I'm much higher.
Lord
Yes.
of the manor.
I am now lording over my people. Well, all right, guys. So I think this 21. We make it 21 for pot. I think cops, if they stop you for driving in marijuana, you get in your slow lane. We've said so. Bumper cars for pot users.
Yep.
They get their own lane on the freeway.
Yep.
Anybody? And then what else?
And then if
and your rehab center that takes alcoholics.
Ray's Rehab.
Ray's Rehab turns them into pot smokers.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. Done.
It ain't cheap.
And then we get rid of alcohol.
Make it so.
Well, I think I'll probably store some Pinot Noir, like at least long enough to last me into Armageddon.
There you go. It's long. All right, guys. Hey, this weekend we're going to be in Montana. Where are we going to be, Ray? It's such a beautiful. It's big sky country.
Is it?
It's big sky country.
That's a callback to like 2010 if you've been listening that long. Yes, Montana. We will be there on Thursday. Billings Babcock Theater.
The Babcock Theater, Billings, Montana. Christopher
Friday.
Titus and the Bombshell, cranking out the comedy. Come on down.
Bozeman.
That's right.
Ellen Theater.
Put your guns down. Put the fence repairing on hold. Put the bison away in the barn, and come on down and watch some comedy.
Ellen, and then Sunday Missoula Top Hat.
And the Missoula at the Top Hat. That's right, the Tip Top Hat, where you go down, and a lot of people have been only 3 or 4 shootings this year. It's a lot safer than it was.
And then the following weekend, the 29th and the 30th, I'll be headlining at Claremont Flappers, and then you'll be doing Sunday, May 1st.
Claremont Comedy Club. They took basically a kind of a broom closet and put some seats in, and now it's a comedy club. Seats about 100. One of the most intimate, fun shows you'll ever see. With the Bombshell on Sunday, Christopher Titus will be there, screaming and yelling, probably unmiked because he doesn't need to. When you can touch the back wall of the comedy club from the stage, you don't need a mic.
You'll probably use your mic. You like being all Lordy McLorderstein.
Yes, you're right.
I am
do.
in
That's
charge,
right.
and I wear a lapel mic. I also sell Time Life books.
No,
I've heard you say it. I don't need a handheld mic. I don't need it. I'm fine.
No, I don't like it. It limits me. I cannot create the full 3-dimensional character from holding a microphone. It's the fourth wall. I don't need a fourth wall. I like to touch the people.
Like to touch the people.
Touch the people.
La 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 la.
So that's where we're going to be this
you
weekend.
You can actually touch all the people at Claremont.
At Claremont, you can actually reach
one by
out
one.
and just pat them on the head while you're doing your show.
He's a good boy.
But this is, by the way, everybody, if you're out in Claremont, if you're down that area, this is Bombshell's first headline gig. She's developed all this. The problem with Bombshell is that she's been working with me for 6 years. So she's probably got an hour and a half of material, but she can never do it all in order because she's working with me. So what she does, she bounces all over and does different stuff. You guys are going to get to see her show, Bitch Slapped by Life.
I'm going to be totally thrown.
Is that what it's called?
I'm going to have to walk off stage every 25 minutes and then reintroduce myself. I'm back. And now I will do 25 more minutes.
Yeah, it's called Bitch Slapped by Life. But we're going to write it. It's going to be Bitch Slapped by Life.
In between, you should yell at me off stage for what I did in the first 25 minutes, just so I feel at home.
We're doing a minute and a half of notes, and then she's going to continue with her show. I didn't yell at you. I stopped yelling at you a long time ago. About your comedy.
The crowd little feedback sheets with bubbles.
Yeah, and then after that, what are we doing? Where are we going after that?
Who the hell knows?
We have to Claremont.
I know. Erie, Pennsylvania.
Erie, Penn, and then we go to Vegas?
No, we go to Denver. We go back to Denver.
Denver and then Vegas.
I don't know. No, then it's like Brea and like then some other
All right, guys, so go to
stuff.
ChristopherTitus.com because Fetus is updating the website all the time, and you see where we're going to be. If you want to get any DVDs, I've got 6 90-minute specials, 6, and they're funny as shit, guaranteed. You can get them on the website. Fetus is nodding, by the way.
Can confirm, did laugh.
Can confirm, did laugh. Worst review ever. Can confirm, these are comedy specials. That's it. Go there. You can get T-shirts from Combustion Speedwear. There's a site. You can also please go to the contact page. Tell us what you think. And do me a favor. Go to Twitter. Talk about the podcast. Talk about my shows when you go see it. And Bombshell, too. Because we're about to unleash you on the world. It's been 6 years. It's been 6 years of you hiding. And now I'm going to unleash you on the world. And I'm there. There's news. We have breaking news.
Arlington Draft House in Virginia.
Oh, that's right.
Virginia, you forgot that you were going there.
I'm going to be at the Arlington Draft House. We've only canceled that gig 3 times, so I'm really going this time.
Have you?
Arlington Draft House, yeah. We had it on the books a couple of times, and something happened.
No, that was Erie.
Erie was twice, but Arlington Draft House, yeah. And I don't cancel gigs either. But you know why? It's weird. Something that's called Draft House isn't something that's, the McConnell Theater. There I'll go. The Draft House, I always feel like, I'm going to be busting tables at the end of my set. But they're really good. It's a really great room.
In a much different mental image between a theater and a draft house.
Yeah, but it's called that, but it's really cool. It's a really great place. So I'll be at the Arlington Draft House, yes?
Yes. That was it. That just throws into the month of Brea.
Oh, but you guys
and
just got like freaked out. I thought, what just happened?
Vegas.
Did Bernie Sanders shoot Ted Cruz?
No,
What just happened? You guys had to
it's
look on
him.
your face.
He doesn't have a lot of excitement, and he was very excited. So we have to appease him.
So I got to say,
What you got to say?
well, look, you and I have done the Landmark Forum. We've been in Fetus. Do you mind talking about it? You did. He did the Landmark Forum.
I did it.
Yeah. What'd you think?
I was skeptical at first.
You were testicle, very much. Very testicle.
I was that. Okay. And I took it, and worth every penny. I feel so much lighter and better.
Yeah,
and great.
good. All right, what was the biggest insight you got out of it?
That I seek praise from other people, and I do what I have to get that praise.
Right, and let everybody know how good you are. So they
I'm
praise
so
you.
good, so praise me. This is how good I am.
Wow,
so
that's
give me your praise so that I don't feel like I don't fit in.
You know, Gandhi had that issue too.
Did
so,
he?
right, yeah,
What
you and
happens
Gandhi.
if you don't get the praise?
Then I feel like there's something wrong, and that I'm not fitting in, and that I get depressed.
Yeah,
Cyclical, man.
that's all gone now. We all have that going on in our head too. That's what we all.
Everybody
have
has their own thing, yeah.
All that's gone now. You don't
Right.
praise me. Then,
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever.
Praise myself. My little
Bite
voice in my
me.
head.
Feel
That's
great.
what I got
Suck
from
it.
Landmark.
Suck it.
Everybody can bite me.
So it's
These
positive.
nuts.
By the way, that's a much further on. That's a graduate conversation. These nuts.
the most striking quote of the weekend was "Shit happens, then you die."
Yeah,
And-
yeah. And when they put it in a context where it's not a T-shirt, you're like, you really get.
Oh no,
like-
you get it.
You get like life keeps lifing, and then you're a dead skin bag buried under the ground.
Yep.
So what do you do on the way? That's why I've done all these specials like this, because when I got that, I told Ray, I said, I'm going to start cranking out a special, because what am I doing the same act for 6 years?
Mm-hmm.
You know, this movie that we're editing right now, Special Unit, good or bad, I said, we're doing it. I'm going to leave something here, you know, because by the way, there's nothing, it doesn't happen at the end. You got to leave it here on the way. And the last 5 years, it's just you're pooping yourself and you can't see things and you're grumpy all the time.
And that's if you're lucky.
Yeah, if you're lucky. But I'm going to be doing the CBDs now, so I'm going to last a little longer.
Since I started doing it, I committed to finishing a draft of my book by the end of the year. So.
Oh, very nice. Ooh, and he says it out loud. See?
Yeah.
You learn that your word is the most important thing. You know, if you say you're going to do something, do it. That's how the movie got made. I said we're doing it. I said it to you.
You said it to me.
And then he kept saying, oh, how's everything going in the movie?
I did. I kept saying that. Are we going to hire a line producer yet?
Yeah.
You went, oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah, and then I had to go ask those guys for the money. That was crazy. That was crazy to go ask those guys.
So speak your dreams, because other people make you accountable.
Yeah, that shit in your head is just shit in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Say it out loud to people that you know well and that know you, because they will turn and go, hey, whatever happened to that thing you were going to do?
Yeah.
And you're like, damn it. And if you say it out loud, your brain starts to solve it. Do you guys know that? If your brain will start to figure out how to get it done subconsciously. So, speak your dreams or else you won't have any.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear that they are putting Harriet Tubman, that she's going to replace Andrew Jackson on the $20 bill?
Hold on. And now, from sea to shining sea, continent to continent, and sometimes space, it's Bombshell Rae with the Bombshell News!
President Lincoln will remain on the front of the $5 bill, but
Good. They didn't demote Lincoln. That's good. I'm glad
but
they
the
didn't
Lincoln
demote him.
Memorial on the back will be redesigned to depict historic events that happened there. Marian Anderson's 1939 opera concert and Martin Luther King Jr.'s 1963 I Have a Dream speech. I feel like, well, whatever. I won't.
Why
I'll keep that to myself.
are we updating money? It's not like a website. Is money? Are we changing
The back of the $10, because of bitches, man, bitches. We were unrepresented, and there was a petition going around, and
Yeah.
people signed it, and here we are. Back of the $10 bill is going to tell the story of women's suffrage, and when we got our right to vote in 1920.
Good. I
Only
hope good.
50
Dude,
years after
Good.
black men.
good girls. Do you feel better, pretty? Do you feel better, pretty, that you're on that?
50
Yeah,
years
so cute.
after everyone, half of a century later. Oh, thank you.
How come
thank
woman,
you so much.
How come there's no bitches' lives matters? It's Black Lives Matter, not bitches' lives matter. Because you're right, 50 years after
I
black
mean,
men.
like 1991, women that are in the military got the right to have their dependents use the base exchange and the commissary. It ain't over. I'm just saying. Yeah, exactly. These nuts.
You run shit.
I have some pretty strong feelings about.
That's
Andrew
what you
Jackson
say.
anyway.
Yeah.
That's what you say to us to make us go, oh, yeah, we do run shit. That's right, because we have boobs. And then we shut up, and then you go back to running shit. Horribly, might I add, horribly. All of the complaining
that's actually valid.
that you've done for the last 5
all about
years
men.
on this podcast about
Agreed.
how horribly this planet is going.
100%. Yep, I agree with you.
Congratulations.
It's all men. You're right. You very rarely am up here bitching about a woman, but it looks like at this election that could be next.
Again, all right. Well, all right. Never mind.
Do you have some Andrew Jackson? Yeah.
Well, I'm totally in favor of getting Andrew Jackson off money because he was awful.
Yeah.
He's America's best president. I just want to make sure I got my facts
He's
right
the
on
best,
this.
worst president.
He's
our worst president.
He was by far. He wasn't like bad in terms of like people. He was so popular with the people. He got to do all kinds of stuff.
He's like the Trump of its time.
Basically, the Supreme Court said that he could not remove the Indians and displace them from the country, and he went, "Oh, I'm just going to do it anyway," and went against the Supreme Court and engineered the Indian Removal Act, which he pushed Indians away from
It's a
out of their
trail
land.
made of tears.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was all Andrew Jackson. And because he was so popular, like, the Supreme Court was like, you can't do that. He's like, stop me. And he just did it.
Yeah, he pretty much did what he wanted when it came to Native Americans. Speaking
hated
of
them.
Native Americans, we're going to be in Montana this weekend.
By the way, where they've all been displaced.
It's
The
an awful
Crow
person.
Reservation is there, and
I
we'd
like
like
it.
to invite each and every one of you down off the reservation
Yeah.
to see the show.
Please. Please.
Speaking of being able to touch all the audience members,
I have to say that I was in Florida last week, and
Florida.
we had I had 5 standing ovations. Crazy. It was a good show.
Snapchat is under fire. Speaking
Wow,
of
I was talking
Florida.
about me succeeding
Snapchat.
something, and she just went whap Snapchat.
Speaking of
So the new
Florida,
show, just want you guys to know, go to Montana. The show's really good. It's finally got to a
even
place
if you're
where
in
it's good.
Florida, go to Montana.
For God's sakes, fly in.
Or take a horse carriage, whatever. Weed-themed Bob Marley filter on Snapchat has been now called out as digital blackface. Snapchat is under fire for a new filter that let its users transform themselves into Bob Marley, black skin color included. The Venice, California-based startup launched the filter on Wednesday, timed for 420. It was a launch for
So it was a
today.
pot. It was a pot thing. It wasn't a black racist thing. It was a drug thing.
It's being celebrated as an unofficial holiday for cannabis users, so they wanted them to be able to turn themselves into Bob Marley. Apparently, it's just digital blackface. Look, he just did it.
Did you do it? Let me. What does it look like? Holy hell! Can I do it? Let me do this. Take me.
Let me do this.
Let me do this.
Let
Put
me
on-
do this. Put it on the
hold on.
Twitter
All right, I will.
and
Hold
on the Facebook. You can keep the headphones on.
Yeah, it hides it. Oh, because the hat.
It doesn't.
Right.
Is the microphone in the way?
Okay.
Why
There
are
you
you posing behind a microphone?
Oh, wow.
Everyone's very excited to
Wow,
be able to
that's
see
so
Titus
wrong.
as Bob Marley. Let me see.
We're all becoming Bob Marley.
Oh my gosh.
And by the way, isn't that what everybody really wants? At the end of the day, don't we all want to be Bob Marley?
Kinda.
Living a life, making some
No, he
music,
died
inspiring
young,
people.
though.
He did die young.
Are you going to post those?
I'm going to send them to you to post because I don't have access to the page.
Damn right you
Yeah,
don't,
page.
psychopath.
Cinnamon roll can explodes inside man's butt during shoplifting accident.
My favorite sentence of this year. Ladies and gentlemen, we now have the first nominee for Best Sentence of 2016.
Can you please say it again?
one more time.
Cinnamon roll can explodes inside man's butt during shoplifting incident.
That's an amazing plot for a movie. That's the look on his face must have just you.
Actually, his mugshot, he's really happy. He looks really... This was in Las Vegas. This story was sent in by Christopher Dobbs. This guy
Chris
was
Dobbs.
arrested after a shoplifting incident that went horribly wrong. They had stolen several grocery items from the Las Vegas Walmart. They had entered approximately 11 a.m., went straight to the breakfast food aisle. They took several cans of Pillsbury cinnamon rolls from the aisle and headed towards the bathroom. According to CCTV footage, he and his partner stayed inside the restroom for nearly 20 minutes.
Now, how much do you love cinnamon rolls? And do you love them so much that they got your butt residue on them when you cook them? Like I don't. Cinnamon rolls. And that's just an amazing... What happened? I mean, what happened? So it's cans and there's metal ends on the things and paper. And
They probably got stressed and the police. Yep.
and then you heard the pest whip up door.
And then they baked the whole way to the police station.
I'll say the sentence one more time. One more sentence. Read the headline.
I just
again.
X'd out of it.
Oh.
Cinnamon roll can explodes inside man's rectum during shoplifting incident.
Rectum could have killed him. Boom.
I said rectum for your dad.
Thank you.
In honor. I feel like we should close on that one because nothing can possibly top
Cinnamon roll can explodes in man's butt during shoplifting incident.
Oh my god!
That wins. That is definitely a nominee. All right, so let me see the Bob Marley thing. So we didn't talk about this. Do you guys believe that this is a blackface thing? Here's the problem with our society. So now, because it's a specific dude, you couldn't just pick. I'm going to be Morgan Freeman. I want to be Bob Marley. I want to be Denzel. It's just for 420. Wow.
I texted it to you too.
I look really
Which
good.
one?
I look like
can't
Snoop Dogg
tell.
as a black
You
guy.
sent me two.
I did. The one with the mouth open is you, and the one with the mouth closed is Chris.
I look a little Snoop Doggy dog.
Oh my gosh! Look, it's a black dude with no lips.
Shut up!
Is you.
You
Holy
shut up!
Look at me. I've got big lips
I do have something to
and
say
a
about.
mustache.
Let me see.
I hope that mustache doesn't
That's Bob
react
Marley.
to your real
It
hair
does.
and get darker according to what's already there.
The thing about Snapchat right now is they've got all these amazing face replace filters. Like
Yeah,
it tracks
my
your face.
daughter loves them.
Yeah, I love them too, and they're great. The face swap one is especially creepy.
Yeah.
And they're amazing and hilarious.
Yeah, that is
but,
funny.
If you don't have the context that they've got all of them, there are tons of them, and they do specialty. There's a Wendy's one and everything. I can see how out of context somebody could be like, Snapchat changes your face to be Bob Marley. To be black. But
It's a leap. That's a leap, dude.
It's
a leap.
pretty much a leap.
Even you just saying it,
Yeah.
I would. If
That's
anybody in my life says,
it's kind of a leap.
dude, it's so racist," I'd be like,
Yeah,
"Shut
but that's the
fuck
thing.
up."
No, like on Snapchat, if you do like any of the filters, the round dorky glasses, the kind of Harry Potter glasses and stuff like that, nobody's saying, "Oh, they're doing whiteface."
We're making fun of geeks. Geeks hate.
Well,
It's
there's
bullying.
also-
It's bullying. Totally bullying.
There's a filter where it puts makeup on you and everything, and scrunches your face and kind of makes you look like a lady. But I don't hear anyone being like,
Oh, because women have scrunchy faces.
no,
Yes.
this actually
better.
no,
Thinner faces with high cheekbones.
it looks like I'm in drag
You're-
when you put the thing on, but you don't
How
hear
often
anyone.
do you do that?
I've never done it before. But
There you go.
I don't think after seeing it, I was like, I've definitely never done one ugly lady.
Yeah, right.
You know?
It's the beard.
It might be the beard.
Might be the beard. Yeah.
But you don't see anyone being like, "Oh, that's offensive against the LGBT community."
I know. It's just we've
LGBTQIA.
Sorry,
we
I
have come
forgot
to a place. Saga. I like Saga. Did you see that? Saga. That's the new name. Saga. Yeah, sexually ambivalent girls and whatever else. I don't know. Someone Saga. Look it up. Saga. Look it up. Look up Saga for the LGBT. Look up Saga. See what it says.
You don't know.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, someone sent it to me because we talked about it last week, and they were saying that how do we change it because LGBT
Police in Minnesota.
And then when she gets bored, she just gets pick the words. Like on the news station, be great. Well, we're going to talk about the weather. You know what? Police into town today. I'm doing the weather.
A prankster claimed to be a fire official told employees at a local Burger King in Coon Rapids, Minnesota, that they should smash their windows to avoid a gas leak on Friday night, which they all did around 9:30 p.m. Officers arrived on the scene.
That's hilarious.
Because
some
they
guy
were all
ran
shattering.
in, freaking out, and going, "Guys, there's a gas leak. Open the window so the building doesn't blow up." And people started doing it.
He was on the phone. He convinced them to break the windows to release the pressure.
So instead of LGBT, Saga, SAGA, sexuality and gender acceptance. That's so much cleaner,
I like that.
Clearer Saga. So anybody who's in the Saga community, we got your back, right? Sexual acceptance.
We're allies.
Yes, right. I got it. All right. Where are we going to be in Montana, right? Let's get through. She doesn't want to go to Montana. We have a day off on Saturday. We're going to go to a lake and we'll go drive around. And
We're going to go to a lake and jump.
No, we'll sing Bruce Springsteen.
Probably
song.
won't drown.
Down by the river.
It'll be 2 feet deep. We'll just stand there crying.
I don't understand. She's probably gonna have the best show she's ever had. I don't understand what's
I
wrong
don't know
with
what the
her.
beef with.
What is wrong with her today?
With it, was there something before I worked for you guys that?
There's
No.
nothing.
We went to Montana last time. It was phenomenal.
It was
We had a
phenomenal.
great
It was
time.
great.
We had a lot of people said we had standing ovations. It was great.
Super.
It was
super.
great. Great night. Great shows. You need to relax.
You need to relax.
All right, guys. Again, go to the website
Hey.
christice.com. Do me a favor, hit us on. Follow us on Twitter
This is going to go with that.
at Titus Nation, at Ray Bradley. Follow me on Facebook at The Real Christopher Titus. Go to ChristopherTitus.com. Do me a favor, click through on the link to the Amazon page. Look, we have a couple of ads once in a while, but it takes a while to get this Combustion Lounge going. Click through on the Amazon page. It's like making a donation. When you buy something from Amazon, click through our Amazon link on ChristopherTitus.com. You can check out some DVDs on your way to Amazon. Boom. There you go.
I was going to say that we actually took a day for ourselves on Saturday. We will be in Bozeman or we will be on our way to Missoula. So either in Bozeman or Missoula or somewhere in between. We would love to hear what you think we should do.
Yeah, what can we do?
On Saturday? Where should we go and what should we do? And we will most likely do at least one of those things.
And go to ChristopherTitus.com, click on the contact page. We read those and we'll give us a list of crap to do in Montana.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I have something to say.
Okay.
We are in the process of editing Special Unit right now.
We are.
But we still have a donation button for Special Unit up on the website.
Button.
A button. It's a little thing you click, and you can give us money, and we'll put your name in the credits.
Yeah. You can help us with the final post on it. Yeah,
it's going. It's going.
It is going. It's going well. It's going well.
Yeah.
Although we just watched it with one of the other actors, and we got some notes that we didn't like.
No, but we got some notes we did like.
Yeah, it was all right.
We've been giggling the whole time.
It
It's
ain't
been
perfect.
great.
You want it to all be perfect, and it's going to take a while to make it perfect.
It'll get there.
All right. So Bombshell wants to go. You want to go?
No, I was just thinking. Never mind. It's good. We're all good. Montana tomorrow. Be there.
Oh man, I got to spend the night with her tonight. It's going to be weird.
Yeah.
Oh God. All right, guys. It's Christopher Titus podcast for myself, Bombshell, and the fetus. Later.
Peace out.
See ya.
It's bothering me. I'm worried about you a little bit. You seem
worried?
upset. Yes, you seem upset. We're just taking a trip like we always take.
What you gonna do about that? What you gonna do?
Gonna massage you.
I don't want that. Get me something else. You know what you could get me?
Well, shoes.
Well, you right, dog. You right.